In economics, a country's current account is one of the two components of its balance of payments, the other being the capital account. The current account consists of the balance of trade, net primary income, a factor income, and net cash transfers that have taken place over a given period of time. The current account balance is one of two major measures of a country's foreign trade. A current account surplus indicates that the value of a country's net foreign assets grew over the period in question, and a current account deficit indicates that it shrank. Both government and private payments are included in the calculation. It is called the current account because goods and services are generally consumed in the current period. Overview. A country's balance of trade is the net difference between the country's exports of goods and services and its imports of goods and services, ignoring all financial transfers, investments and other components over a given period of time. A country is said to have a trade surplus if its exports exceed its imports, and a trade deficit if its imports exceed its exports. Positive net sales abroad generally contributes to a current account surplus. Negative net sales abroad generally contributes to a current account deficit. Because exports generate positive net sales, and because the trade balance is typically the largest component of the current account, a current account surplus is usually associated with positive net exports. In the net factor income or income account, income payments are outflows, and income receipts are inflows. Income are receipts from investments made abroad and money sent by individuals working abroad, known as remittances, to the families back home. If the income account is negative, the country is paying more than it is taking in interest, dividends, etc. The various subcategories in the income account are linked to specific respective subcategories in the capital account, as income is often composed of factor payments from the ownership of capital of the negative capital abroad. For the capital account, economists and central banks determine implied rates of return on the different types of capital. The United States, for example, gleans a substantially larger rate of return from foreign capital than foreigners do from owning United States capital. In the traditional accounting of balance of payments, the current account equals the change in net foreign assets. A current account deficit implies a paralleled reduction of the net foreign assets. Current account equals changes in net foreign assets. If an economy is running a current account deficit, it is absorbing more than that it is producing. This can only happen if some other economies are lending the savings to it and the economy is running down its foreign assets such as official foreign currency reserve. On the other hand, if an economy is running a current account surplus, it is absorbing less than that it is producing. This means it is saving. As the economy is open, this saving is being invested abroad and thus foreign assets are being created, reducing current account deficits. Action to reduce a substantial current account deficit usually involves increasing exports or decreasing imports. Firstly, this is generally accomplished directly through import restrictions, quotas, or duties, or by promoting exports, influencing the exchange rate to make exports cheaper for foreign buyers will indirectly increase the balance of payments. Also, currency wars, a phenomenon evident in post-recessionary markets, is a protectionist policy, whereby countries devalue their currencies to ensure export competitiveness. Secondly, adjusting government spending to favor domestic supplies is also effective. Less obvious methods to reduce a current account deficit include measures that increase domestic savings, including a reduction in borrowing by the national government. A current account deficit is not always a problem. The Pitchford thesis states that a current account deficit does not matter if it is driven by the private sector. It is also known as the consenting adult's view of the current account, as it holds that deficits are not a problem if they result from private sector agents engaging in mutually beneficial trade. A current account deficit creates an obligation of repayments of foreign capital, and that capital consists of many individual transactions. Pitchford asserts that since each of these transactions were individually considered financially sound when they were made, their aggregate effect is also sound. Interrelationships in the balance of payments. Absent changes in official reserves, the current account is the mirror image of the sum of the capital and financial accounts. One might then ask, is the current account driven by the capital and financial accounts, or is it vice versa? The traditional response is that the current account is the main causal factor, with capital and financial accounts simply reflecting financing of a deficit or investment of funds arising as a result of a surplus. However, more recently some observers have suggested that the opposite causal relationship may be important in some cases. In particular, it has controversially been suggested that the United States current account deficit is driven by the desire of international investors to acquire U.S. assets. However, the main viewpoint undoubtedly remains that the causative factor is the current account, and that the positive financial account reflects the need to finance the country's current account deficit. Current account surpluses are facing current account deficits of other countries, the indebtedness of which towards abroad therefore increases. According to Balances Mechanics by Wolfgang Stutzel, this is described as surplus of expenses over the revenues. Increasing imbalances in foreign trade are critically discussed as a possible cause of the financial crisis since 2007. Many Keynesian economists consider the existing differences between the current accounts in the Eurozone to be the root cause of the euro crisis. For instance, Yanis Varoufakis, Heine Flasbeck, Paul Krugman and Joseph Stiglitz. U.S. account deficits. Since 1989, the current account deficit of the U.S. has been increasingly large, reaching close to 7% of the GDP in 2006. In 2011, it was the highest deficit in the world. New evidence, however, suggests that the U.S. current account deficits are being mitigated by positive valuation effects. That is, the U.S. assets overseas are gaining in value relative to the domestic assets held by foreign investors. The net foreign assets of the U.S. are therefore not deteriorating one-to-one with the current account deficits. The most recent experience has reversed this positive valuation effect, however, with the U.S. net foreign asset position deteriorating by more than $2 trillion in 2008, down to less than $18 trillion, but has since risen to $25 trillion. This temporary decline was due primarily to the relative underperformance of domestic ownership of foreign assets compared to foreign ownership of domestic assets. OECD Quarterly International Trade Statistics. The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development (OECD), an international economic organization of 34 countries, founded in 1961 to promote policies that will improve the economic and social well-being of people around the world, produces quarterly reports on its 34 member nations comparing statistics on balance of payments and international trade in terms of current account balance in billions of US dollars and as a percentage of GDP. For example, according to the report, the current account balance in billions of US dollars of several countries can be compared. Australia for the year 2013 was minus 51.39 and the year 2014 was minus 43.69, with each quarter between 2013 Q1 through 2015 Q2 ranging from a low of minus 14.81 in Q2 2015 to a high of minus 8.53 in Q1 2014. Australia's current account balance in Q2 2015 was down to minus 14.81. The current balance in Q2 as a percentage of GDP was minus 4.7%. Canada for the year 2013 was minus 54.62, and year 2014 was minus 37.46, with each quarter between 2013 Q1 through 2015 Q2 ranging from a low of minus 14.63 in Q1 2015 to a high of minus 8.28 in Q3 2014. Canada's current account balance in Q2 2015 was up at minus 14.15. The current balance in Q2 as a percentage of GDP was minus 3.5%. China for the year 2013 was 148.33, and year 2014 was 219.90, with each quarter between 2013 Q1 through 2015 Q2 ranging from a low of 31.96 in Q4 2014 to a high of 75.58 in Q4 2013. The United States' current account balance in Q2 2015 was down to 73.03. The current balance in 2013 as a percentage of GDP was 1.6%. Germany for the year 2013 was 238.61, and year 2014 was 285.82, with each quarter between 2013 Q1 through 2015 Q2 ranging from a low of 54.13 in Q3 2013 to a high of 68.89 in Q1 2014. Germany's current account balance in Q2 2015 was up to 68.39. The current balance in Q2 as a percentage of GDP was 8.2%. Greece for the year 2013 was minus 4.89, and year 2014 was minus 5.00, with each quarter between 2013 Q1 through 2015 Q2 ranging from a low of minus 2.76 in Q1 2013 to a high of 0.01 in Q2 2015. Greece's current account balance in Q2 2015 was up to 0.01. The current balance in Q2 as a percentage of GDP was 0.0. The United States for the year 2013 was minus 376.76, and year 2014 was minus 389.53, with each quarter between 2013 Q1 through 2015 Q2 ranging from a low of minus 118.30 in Q1 2013 to a high of minus 81.63 in Q4 2013. The United States' current account balance in Q2 2015 was up to minus 109.68. The current balance in Q2 as a percentage of GDP was minus 2.4%. The report also compares countries on services balance, exports of services, import of services, goods balance, export of goods and imports of goods in billions of US dollars. The World Fact Book. The World Fact Book a reference resource produced by the Central Intelligence Agency that collects data and publishes online open reports comparing the current account balance of countries. According to the World Fact Book, current account balance compares a country's net trade in goods and services, plus net earnings, and net transfer payments to and from the rest of the world during the period specified. These figures are calculated on an exchange rate basis. The top 10 on the list of countries by current account balance in 2014 were Germany number 1 with $286.4 billion, China number 2 with $219.7 billion, Netherlands number 3 with $90.160 billion, South Korea number 4 with $89.220 billion, Saudi Arabia number 5 with $76.920 billion, Taiwan number 6 with $65.420 billion, Russia number 7 with $59.460 billion, Singapore number 8 with $58.770 billion, Qatar number 9 with $54.840 billion, and the United Arab Emirates number 10 with $54.630 billion. On the same list, the bottom 10 countries by current account balance in 2014 were Mexico number 185 at $24.980 billion, Indonesia number 186 at $26.230 billion, France number 187 at $26.240 billion, India number 188 at $27.530 billion, European Union number 189 at $34.490 billion, Canada number 190 $37.500 billion, Australia number 191 at $43.750 billion, Turkey number 192 at $46.530 billion, Brazil number 193 at $103.600 billion, United Kingdom number 194 at $173.900 billion, United States number 195 at $389.500 billion. International Monetary Fund. According to a 2012 article published by the International Monetary Fund, the authors argue that a current account deficit with higher investments and lower savings may indicate that the economy of a country is highly productive and growing. If there is an excess of imports over exports, there may be problems in terms of competitiveness. Low savings and higher investment can also be caused by a reckless fiscal policy or a consumption binge. China's financial system favors the accumulation of large surpluses, while the United States carries large and persistent current account deficits, which has created a trade imbalance. The authors note that, moreover, in practice, private capital often flows from developing to advanced economies. The advanced economies, such as the United States, run current account deficits, whereas developing countries and emerging market economies often run surpluses or near surpluses. Very poor countries typically run large current account deficits, in proportion to the gross domestic product, that are financed by official grants and loans.